This is the all-new 2024 Mazda CX-90. It's the Preferred Plus package that we're going to be looking at today. It has the platinum quartz metallic exterior color, a new color for Mazda. And there are a lot of advantages to this three-row SUV. It has plentiful horsepower, while at the same time, the engine options offer great gas mileage, but you still have good get up and go no matter what model you choose to buy. The interior is comfortable, not only comfortable in the respect of just overall space, but also with the seating itself. And one thing you can see right here, we're going to take a closer look in a little bit at how much leg room I actually have in the rear seating area. But you can see that the seats here in the middle row do slide back and forth, giving middle row passengers the option to increase or decrease, if they don't want to prank their brothers and sisters, space for their legs in the rear seating area. So let's take a quick look at this particular model to see exactly what you can expect to find if this is something you want to buy as your next vehicle. Today I am at Moffett Mazda here in Bossier City, Louisiana. If you want to know more about this particular model or any other Mazda model here on the dealership lot, check out the link down in the description of the video. The CX-90 is meant to replace the CX-9, and it is larger. It has a little bit more length to it. You can tell a difference because of the front end being a little more elongated, still having very nice looks, very nice lines. And when it comes to lighting all over the vehicle, no matter where you look, you are going to see LED lighting, a very nice look. And depending on trim level, will determine a few different things as far as lighting is concerned. We don't have any fog lights or anything like that in this particular case. But you will have what really looks like a very elegant appearance. This is really kind of borderlining on being a true luxury SUV. You have the gloss black on the grille, the nice large Mazda logo there in the center, and the body lines really do a good job as far as giving this all-wheel drive model a very strong stance. And while all-wheel drive is important to maintaining traction in all sorts of driving conditions, tire size has a lot to do with that as well. In this particular case, we're looking at 265 on the width. We're going to have a 55 series sidewall, and all of that will be wrapped around 19-inch wheels. And while we have that nice gloss black front grille, that's complemented by what I think really fits with the matte black finish on the trim around the vehicle, not only around the fenders, but also on the lower portion of the doors. Body color on the mirror caps. Manually folding side view mirrors, turn signal indicators are built in. I know a lot of you like that feature. That must mean you're using your blinkers when you're driving down the road. And power adjustable side view mirrors. One thing I really like here, a very clean look on the remote because you don't have all of the buttons on the face of the remote. They're all located on the side, so really nice look. Now we do have a lot of gloss black on the front end and a combination of matte black and gloss black with the windows. The gloss black area that we have right here really gives it almost a seamless look, especially from a distance, as far as having the window tint back here for the privacy glass. We're going to finish things off from the roof up here. We've got the roof rails, a very nice look, nice lines, finishing things off with this functional and nice looking rear roof spoiler. Why is it functional? Because it allows air to actually flow over the rear window when driving down the road. That helps to keep that rear window clean. But obviously when the time comes and it is dirty, there's the rear window wiper that will help take care of things. We're going to finish things off here with a very clean look here on the rear, the LED taillights, the CX-90 logo. We know that this model is all-wheel drive. Overall, a very clean look. So what motivates this model to get down the road? Let's pop the hood and talk about that. Under the hood of this particular model, the 3.3-liter turbocharged six-cylinder. It makes 280 horsepower and 332 pounds-feet of torque. It's mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. And honestly, I don't usually like seeing an engine cover like this. This one is tastefully done, but as you can see, I unlatched everything. You can actually just take it off if you want to and leave it off, or whatever the case is, but at least we can give you a good look at what's underneath instead of having everything covered by plastic. Pretty simple to deal with if you would like to rid yourself of that issue. It does have the struts to help hold everything up. This model features an 18.5 gallon gas tank, and speaking of the gas tank size, let's talk about MPGs. 24 city, 28 highway, 25 combined, and Mazda says you should use 4 gallons of gas per every 100 miles you drive. If you would like to tow with your CX-90 in the right configuration, it's capable of towing a maximum of 5,000 pounds. We do have the power tailgate here to make everything easy to gain access to, and you will gain access to a cargo capacity that ranges between 14.9 and 74.2 cubic feet. You do have your 12-volt power outlet back here, as well as lighting, a little bit of storage over here on the left-hand side of the vehicle in this rear area. And to completely maximize cargo capacity, you just use that release right there and everything folds flat. I do have a bonus for you when it comes to cargo capacity today. You might say, well, what does it do for me when it comes to understanding cargo capacity in cubic feet? Well, it doesn't really do a whole lot. So you know what I'm going to do is break out the tape measure and tell you what it is in length, height, and width in inches. And we're going to start out with an opening with the width of the rear door of 44 inches. And then we're looking at roughly 39.5 inches from the floor to the area right here where you're going to initially push things in or bring things in through this rear area. And then that increases to about 31 inches when we get to the higher portion where the roof actually raises a little bit. And in this rear seating area, if we measure from the rear seats to where the rear door closes, we're looking at 21 inches. That will increase to 42 inches if we measure to the back of the rear seat right there, or the top, I should say, right there at the very top with the seat laid flat. And if we measure to the top of the seat here on the middle row, this area right here, we're looking at 74 inches. That will increase to 82 inches if we measure to the back of the rear seat right here. Now that is going to vary depending on where those front seats are located, but ultimately that gives you the information, length, height, width, all that good stuff here within the interior in inches. It's a lot more simplified to understand that than cubic feet. And if you're wondering what is the size of a cubic foot, that would be a basketball. And for those of you who are saying, hey Tom, show us what everything looks like with cargo capacity maximized, there you go. And before we move on from the rear cargo area, I did want to show you one more important feature. At least for some of you it will be important. If this door is too high in its highest height, maybe you want it to open to this area right here, to this particular height. All you're going to do is hold down this button, and it takes a few seconds, so be patient. We're going to listen for the beeps. Let's see if we can hear that. Once you hear those 2 beeps, you can close the door again, and when you open it back up, it's going to stop at that height where we just set it. So depending on your situation, you may need to raise or lower the opening height of the rear door, but as you can see, that's how easy it is to do based on your preference. And we'll take a look in through the passenger side rear door. You're going to see that the privacy shades are here and very easy to put in place or to take down depending on what your rear seat passengers want to do. Very comfortable and nice materials here. You can actually see it looks like a rare steak if you understand the poke test. When you put your arm on there, it's very comfortable. So very comfortable materials, very nice high-end materials here. A good size door bin right here with a couple of different options for bottle holders and whatever else your rear seat passengers want to put in. You can see the nice materials as far as the trim goes. I showed you how you can move these seats back and forth on the tracks. This is what you're going to use to do that. Now, how do we gain access to the rear seating area? In fact, before I do that, because I didn't show you earlier, you may wonder, how do you fold the seats flat? By simply using that release. Very easy to do. Those are very easy to put back in place. And then we're going to push this button. We will need to push that up and out of the way. And so we'll go ahead and hop into the rear seating area back here. And let's go ahead and pull everything back. Now, this is where I had things roughly set earlier. There is a lot of leg space right there. If I pull that all the way back, this is where we would wind up. I do still have a reasonable amount of leg space. My feet are kind of cramped underneath there, but that can easily be changed depending on the situation of who's sitting in the middle row seats. It is comfortable back here. There is a lot of space, a couple of cup holders and USB connectivity. Obviously, the other side of the vehicle is going to mirror that as well. So quite a bit going on back here. And if you're wondering what this space is for, you can see that right here and right here. That's actually to mount a cargo cover. And beyond those door bins, you do have the rear seat pockets, what often have been known as map pockets, but I don't think anybody's putting maps in there anymore unless they put their phone in there. Technically, then there would be a map in the map pocket. And the command center here. On the rear of the center console, we're going to have our dual air conditioning vents, as well as a couple of USB connectivity options and controls for the third zone of climate control. We actually have tri-zone or 3-zone climate control because we have the dual zone in the front and a single zone here in the rear. Quite a bit of space, very comfortable, a good view out of the conventional size sunroof right there. And then we have our reading lights. And when the driver wants to exercise 280 horsepower, there's the oh crap handle for your passengers to grab onto. And last but not least, yes, there is a fold-down armrest with the cup holders built in, very comfortable. That way, when no one's sitting here in this middle seat area, well, rear seat passengers can take advantage of that. And we'll take a look in through the passenger side front door. You can see a lot of similarities, but a few differences as well in the overall design and layout of what we have here. Still, those nice soft materials right there, very comfortable for the armrest. Nice contrast stitching and a little bit of a different look here with the door bin, still very large. And then as we look inside, we're going to have a nice sporty yet a bit of an elegant look to the design of the interior. Heated seats for the driver and the passenger, which seems very strange to be saying that in Northwest Louisiana with it being as warm as it is now. We're getting into the summer, so heated seats, power seats for the driver and the passenger. The CX-90 logo is down there on the floor mat, so if anybody says, I forgot what kind of vehicle we're riding in, just tell them to look down there at the floor mat. They'll figure it out. And you can see the nice seamless look, everything blending in from the door panel to the air conditioning vents and the rest of the dashboard. A very clean look, not too much going on, but at the same time, everything you need is here. Everything for the heated seats, like I said earlier, 3 different settings. We definitely don't need that today. Dual zone climate control, and down here we're going to have a couple of options on connectivity. We're going to have also the wireless charging pad right there. You can hide the cup holders away or reveal them. A very clean look. And then here is a look of the shifter. I really like how your hand just fits perfectly into the palm of your hand. That works well. Hill start assist is here as well, and kind of an interesting look here. A Bombay door style look. I really like the way that looks. I think that Mazda has done a nice job on that. And connectivity again here within the center console, so quite a bit going on there, but we're just getting started because we still need to take a look from the driver's side and see what the driver can expect to find. That's most likely who's watching this video, the person who's going to own and drive this CX-90. And one little point of interest that I thought a lot of you might like, you do not have capless fuel fill. In fact, you have really kind of an old school gas cap. We don't see this as often as we used to on most vehicles. The only thing missing here is that clicking sound that you get. It's not as pronounced as it was on some of the older vehicles. And by the way, the one thing I forgot to mention on those side view mirrors, they are heated in addition to everything else I told you earlier. And it's very unlikely I need to tell you too much about the controls right here and what all of that is for. You likely know that. The steering wheel is tilt and telescopically adjustable. You can see your steering wheel mounted controls for controlling the radio and stations and all that good stuff, as well as your cruise control. It does have the shifter paddles on there for working your way back and forth through the 8-speed automatic transmission. And there are multiple driving modes. Here is the drive mode selector. What are those driving modes? You can see you have off-road, you can go into normal, and you can also go into sport. And you can see the changes that take place on the instrument cluster here as far as that goes. Quite a bit going on here. Push button start. I like the fact that that is angled towards the driver, so driver focused right there. That's always a good thing. And the screen here, while not a touch screen, if you go at the top trim level, I know you use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, it will turn into a touch screen. And I think you may even be able to go in and there's a setting where you can turn it into a touch screen anyway. I'm not completely sure about that. Somebody mentioned that in the last video I did on one of these models. It was the top trim level, this isn't. So if somebody can confirm that, that would be helpful. So you will control everything via everything right here as far as your touch screen, or your non-touch screen, I should say. I'm so used to saying touch screen. But you can see what we have here as far as the different features and functionality go. I am just scrolling my way through everything by rotating the wheel around there, the scroll wheel around right there. And then when I get ready to do something, I'm just going to push down on it just like that. That will bring up the information that I want. And you have a lot of different settings you can go through and change here. You can see everything as far as the in-vehicle displays go. We're not going to go through everything in great detail, but just to show you a little bit of what's here. Sound settings, safety settings. Let's see what we have under safety settings, just so you can see all of that. You can go in and see what we have as far as our driver assistance systems go. Go back and just work our way down through everything, and then you can hit back again. You do have built-in navigation if you want to use that, but obviously with your Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, you can also use your favorite app there, which is likely going to be, at least on the iPhone, Apple CarPlay, or excuse me, Google Maps. Now let's try not to get too brain twisted. I get tongue twisted sometimes and brain twisted at other times, but you can see what all is there. And earlier I mentioned the fact that I really like the fact that the shifter fits so well in the palm of your hand. I'm going to go into reverse and show you what the rear view camera looks like. Very nice, very clear, a very good picture. You also have your trajectory lines right there. It's just so easy to work your way back and forth to drive, neutral, reverse, and back over into park, depending on your situation. You also have your power parking brake right there, and auto hold, or what is often called brake hold mode. That's useful in heavy traffic. You come to a complete stop, and the brakes do not disengage until you touch the gas pedal again. And the kind of old school, but still very popular knob for controlling everything with the radio. You don't have to do that on the steering wheel, but you can. But you can turn the radio on and off and control the volume. All that good stuff is there. And one more thing that I think is rather important here, while we're not on the top trim level, you still have a nice head-up display. I hope the GoPro is picking that up well enough for you to see it, but trust me, one way or another, it is there. And in case you are wondering, here is the control for the sunroof as far as its functionality goes. And you do have a sunglass holder right here. It seems like I'm seeing that in fewer and fewer vehicles these days. Okay, here we go on the test drive. Earlier in the video, I mentioned the fact that you have a really nice balance of a vehicle that handles well. It really is a very enjoyable driving experience for the driver. It may not be the most horsepower, but you still get a lot of nice driver engagement. But at the same time, you don't pay the price with an uncomfortable ride quality. You might wonder about 280 horsepower, is that enough? It really seems to work well here. You balance that out with the 332 pounds-feet of torque. The 8-speed automatic transmission does a very good job here. Everything makes this model get down the road with absolutely no problem whatsoever as far as acceleration, as far as driving characteristics go, as far as ride quality goes. The steering wheel's nice and comfortable, and I like the fact that beyond just having shocks and suspension that provide a smooth ride quality, sometimes you'll have vehicles that cancel that out with seating that is not so comfortable. That's not the case here. There's a good balance. And as far as technology goes, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, I guess I'm gonna have to go with that top trim level so I can turn the screen into a touch screen. But even if it's not, it really seems to be something that's very simple to adjust to, something that's easy to get used to, easy to learn for those who have held off for literal decades without buying a new vehicle. And you're saying, well, I finally have to bite the bullet. I had no choice. I have to buy a new vehicle, but I'm really terrified of that new technology. What's it like, Tom? Am I going to have a hard time learning? Well, two things to consider here. Number one, it's not hard at all. Number two, you have YouTube that will tell you basically anything you want to know. You can go back and rewatch those videos as often as you need to. So you really can't go wrong no matter what with these new CX-90s. Really, a real bold move by Mazda, moving towards more of a luxurious vehicle than what we've seen in the past. I really would say this is borderlining, kind of butting up against being a luxury three-row SUV. So tell me what you think down in the comments section. Is the all-new 2024 Mazda CX-90 worthy of becoming best in class for the mid-size three-row SUV segment? Tell me what your thought is on that subject. Tell me what your answer is, and tell me why you answered the way that you did. I have to say a special thanks to my friends here at Moffett Mazda for loaning me this 24 CX-90 for the day, and a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video and would like to know about other vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.